Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, George Gonzalez, SOLD7MORE. All the SOLD7MORE's handles, ighandles.com. So today I'd like to mention a couple of tips that I see that have been forgotten. I was showing property over the weekend, and several beautiful homes that we took a look at were missing one very, very valuable thing that's always overlooked, and that thing is the childproofing, the child safety. There was a lot of things because of my toddler I kind of look for now, especially when visiting other people's homes or visiting homes in general when I'm showing homes. And so I thought that I would kind of do this video to refresh your memory, especially for those, you may not have children, but if you have children visiting you, you may want to do these extra little steps because you just never know. An accident is so, it happens so quickly. Sorry. And so I just wanted to bring this to your attention, those of you who follow me, so that if you are at the store and you run into a couple of things that could help out, this video can refresh your memory. So number one, obviously the most common is the little plastic forks that go inside, not forks, but the plastic pieces that go inside of the sockets in the outlets. Super inexpensive. They come in packs of 40, I think, for like $7 or something. Those are those are really, really important because, believe it or not, until the kids get a little bit older, they don't know you can take it out. And so at least if you have a couple of seconds before they figure it out when they are there, that definitely helps them from putting something inside. And so quick story, just to keep the video short, is that I'm one of those kids that did stick a fork in there. And I don't remember this, I was pretty young, but my mom tells the story all the time. So I was the kid that stuck it in there. And you're talking about back in 84 or 83 when it was 110 direct there, and it didn't have anything restricting me, but I put the fork in there, and well, didn't kill me, but it wasn't a good idea. So you just never know what could happen. And if you don't know how strong and how smart these toddlers are, I mean, they're so curious that they'll get into anything. So those are the basics. Make sure everything has a cover, make sure there's no exposed wires. And another thing that I noticed was there was no TVs that were securely fastened with a childproof belt. So in the consoles, a lot of times it's overlooked, especially when you buy it. It'll come with it, but it's like this belt that has like a clip that you put on the TV, you screw it on there, and that's to prevent it from tipping over. The size of the TVs now are getting bigger and bigger, and so that doesn't help the situation because now they're top heavy. So if a toddler pushes it, it could potentially fall on him. So that's one thing that you should look for and see if you can strap it down. They sell all this stuff at Home Depot. I've seen it several times. Even the wall mounts, they have the security feature where you tie two screws in the back so that it doesn't move. It's for earthquake more or less because the toddler can't reach it, but it's just it's better to be safe than sorry. Another thing that I noticed too, which really, really scared me, was the swimming pools. And as beautiful as they are and as fun as it is to go in the backyard and see a beautiful pool in the barbecue area, I didn't see any childproof at all. There was no security gates on some of them. There was no top covers. I'm assuming that day because they were showing the property, but even on the side of the house I didn't see, and it's really hard to hide a 25-foot tarp or whatever. So I'm pretty sure these days they have a lot of electronic devices that can go in the water and sensors and kind of alert you if something's going on, because one day you might be on the computer finishing up an email and you never know, the baby gets outside and an accident, a tragic accident can happen. So if things that you haven't thought about now, hopefully this will remind you to kind of be more conscious. The corners on the tables and things, they also sell those. I think that if you don't have any babies, you don't necessarily need that, unless it's sharp glass, and I would recommend just for your own safety to kind of make sure that it's not as sharp. So they also sell this plastic like putty, almost like a wax, and what it is that it's a little square. You warm it up in your hand, and then you place it on the bottom of an item that's going to go like on a mantle or a picture frame that's heavy. And what it does is it acts like a glue, and you sit it down, and it dries up, and then that way it doesn't move. whatever you put under there doesn't fall over. So a picture frame can be dangerous because it has the glass. It could potentially cut the baby if it falls, or even let's just say they bump it, it falls on the ground, and they run to and they grab it, cut their hands, and so we, just things like that you want to prevent. One of my biggest fears from experience of a client of mine years ago was that you want to set rules for children under probably 7 or 8 years old, maybe 10 years old. Anybody 10 years, do not allow them in the kitchen. I'm very, very adamant at home with my daughter. We have a black carpet that I put there, and we don't let her on the black carpet because it's close to the stove. And here's the reason why, is that when you're cooking, you're doing so much at once. And if you're boiling water, for instance, to boil eggs, this happened last night. So we're boiling water. Try to boil everything that can tip over and burn you. Try to boil that in the back, no matter what. Get used to boiling everything in the back burners, so that a baby can't come and reach over and grab it. Or as well as all of the drawer safety locks that they sell. See if you can also install one of those on the lid of the stove, not the lid, but the oven door. You wanna make sure that you can't have a toddler open that up, and it's not per se to go inside of it, but that obviously would prevent it. If it's on. But what happens is that years ago I had a client that their daughter actually opened it up and used it as a step and to see what was cooking, and it happened to be that they were cooking a pozole, which is a Mexican soup, really big pot. As you can imagine, this was not secure, fastened in the back with the 2 metal brackets that hold the stove down. Devastating story. I don't want to get into detail, but you can imagine we had a really, really bad accident, and have never fully recovered from it. So make sure you guys do that. That's a really big one that people forget about. And when you buy a house that's being flipped, or you buy a house that it's not brand new, typically nobody installs those. Back in the day there was no regulation for that, but that's one thing that I if anything here, make sure that you secure that stove, because the burns are just something else. Swimming pools, having a child drown, or even somebody jumping the fence into your yard to get their ball, they trip and they fall and they fall in the pool. A lot of things can happen. I don't think that anybody talks about these enough to bring awareness, but childproofing your home is really important. I have plenty of other stories from my rentals that I know that the things happen. You want to walk around the property, make sure that there's no missing lids on sewage cleanouts. I've had a child before step inside of one and break his ankle, and it was devastating because he actually played soccer, so he was on the back running around playing soccer with his cleats on, steps into the sewage cleanout box in the yard, breaks his ankle, and it was obviously he couldn't play for a while, and so but he recovered, and so did my client, the one that had the pot. She also recovered. Just things like that. Take the time to look around, get a coffee, walk around and just kind of put yourself in the position with what could happen, and try to eliminate whatever you can. Accidents are always going to happen, so you're not going to be 100 proof, but as long as you do your efforts, so when people come over, you're not so much worried in the back of your mind that something can happen to them. And obviously take care of, have them take care of your kids. Tell them, hey, watch them, and be that person to tell them, hey, don't do that and don't do this, because sometimes children won't listen to their parents and they kind of test their waters, but when somebody else tells them, they'll take it serious. They may cry, but I'd rather have a baby crying than a baby hurt. So that's all I can think of off the top of my head. If anything else comes to mind, I will write it in the comments below. So just as a couple of tips from me, SOLD7MORE, George Gonzalez, here in the Silicon Valley, selling real estate, remodeling real estate, and putting real estate into trustees, into a trust, I should say, is what I do, and just kind of here for you. So if you need anything, or if you have any questions, definitely reach out to me. If you're in a position where you don't think you can afford to do things like this, and you think it's expensive, and you have children at home, reach out to me and I'll do what I can to help you out. 100%, whatever I can do, I'm always here for you guys. So check out the website, George Gonzalez, SOLD7MORE, SOLD7MORE.com. Instagram handle is SOLD7MORE. And so I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm rolling up to the appointments now, so I'll talk to you soon. Bye.